Hey, Colab Coach here yet again with the casual conversation with good friends. Today I have a good friend of mine, Joseph. Thank you so much, Joseph, for joining me. It's a pleasure.
For having me.
Yes. And today we're talking about how to not bring things from work or trauma from work at home into your relationships. Um, Disclaimer, Joseph and I are both married. Joseph has been married way longer than I have. He has a wealth of experience and knowledge. But Joseph is also, he's been working in a nursing field for X amount of years, and now he's a nurse practitioner. So Joseph, I want to ask you, especially working in the hospital and dealing with patients and especially with different situations. And sometimes they can be tough, they can be traumatic, and they can be exhausting and stressful. Um, what do you do to not bring that home to your wife, not bring that home to your safe space at home? And even just when you're relaxing, what do you do with that and how to de-stress from all of that?
That was quick.
Yeah.
Let's see. How do I not bring that home? In those moments of trauma, the situations that I'm dealing with, I literally, in those moments, I pray, honestly. Like every trauma, emergent situation that I've been dealing with at work, I literally take the moment to either pray for the individual, the families, and I'm not saying like a lengthy 10-minute, I get on my knees, and I'm praying in the emergency room. No, I know I'm focused with work, but it might be 2 to 3 seconds where I'm asking God for peace for the families, for the individuals affected, for the loved ones. And in that way, I'm literally casting my worries, my cares on God. And that's the way I see it. And in those moments, I do have peace because I know that I'm putting it in the hands of someone who can really take control of that situation. I can do nothing other than use the gifts and that God has given me, but I literally do that with every encounter. And then um, when I'm home and I get a chance to reflect on those things, it's either brings me to more prayer or sometimes I talk with my wife about it. She's my best friend, so I literally share things that have been on my mind or like that I've been wowed about or just shocked. Yeah, I definitely share that with her.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's big, especially because of the fact that, as you said, um, sometimes it's better to have the prayer and the moments of not, I wouldn't say distraction, but the moments of taking yourself out of the situation, instead of you putting yourself deep into the situation. Because once you put yourself deep into the situation, you start to think about the people that's going through the stuff. You start thinking about the situations, and sometimes you don't have control of what's going on, and you can feel helpless at that time. So I definitely agree with you. Prayer, and also, like you said, having someone to talk to, especially with those situations. So I guess my question for you is that, with all the experience that you dealt with, especially with those stressful situations, um, what do you try not to do to bring those situations, back into the surface and back into your mind and back into the what, especially while you're working? I think that's the biggest thing, especially while you're working. We'll talk about when you get home, but especially when you're working, how do you separate yourself? I know you said prayer, but are there other things that you do as well?
Uh, like, how do I not bring that situation up in another encounter or
Right. When
that
another
kind of thing?
encounter, or even while you're still dealing with that situation. As I know a little bit about the hospital world, the nursing world,
Yeah,
that you have to do your rounds and things of that nature.
yeah,
And let's say, for example, you have a situation with this one patient, you leave to go attend to another patient, but you come back to that patient, you see them still in the same state. How do you get past those moments?
Wow. Honestly, a little bit, of it is tunnel vision, like what's right in front of me. I'm focused on the best care possible for every encounter that I have for every person. So maybe that's part of who I am. I'm focused on whoever I am with at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's hard to keep those memories or instances at bay at times. But honestly, I just use it as motivation to continue to care for this person in this moment. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I can do.
Yeah.
Is literally just be tunnel vision and focus on each encounter. I can't really put into words how I go in from one room to another. Someone's dying in another room, and then I'm like, how can I help you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It is really a flip of the emotions, but I think the heart of caring is still there. Um, Compassion. I treat them like I would the person next door. Um, it's tough, but again, I think the main thing that keeps me focused is prayer and carrying peace with me. I'm having peace in that situation with a trauma, and I'm still having peace in that room and encounter with the other person.
Yeah, I think that's powerful. I think the thing that I was thinking about as you was talking is that humanizing the situations.
Yeah,
Because as you said, is easy because you have a system. You have a system, you've been doing this for like what I say, like 10 years.
yeah, oh yeah,
Working.
wow.
Yeah, it's been a while. So, at a point it becomes a system and things that
Yeah,
check the things off the list. Okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this. But I like that you said that you try to treat each person when you come to them, because at the same time, it's easy for you to be like, okay, I have 20 people I gotta see today. And where's number one? Where's number two? Rather than you be like, okay, well, I'm meeting Sam today
exactly.
and
Yeah,
Sally. Let's go see how Sally's doing, or let's go see how Tom is doing. I hope he's able to be discharged today, things of that nature. I think as you said, I think that's very powerful because you know it gets difficult at times, especially as you said, you're dealing with different trauma, the different situations. You can treat it as just an experience, rather you could look at it as, well, Sam unfortunately died today,
yeah.
and there's so much behind that, and how to deal with that. So I guess, I know you talked about how you do talk to your wife about these situations. How do you start those conversations? Do you just say, hey, guess what happened to me today? Or do you like, hey, I need to talk, can we talk? Or how do you start those conversations?
It's usually like, babe, you will not believe what happened.
Mhm.
um, I think because I typically deal with the shock afterhand, I don't have the opportunity to be in shock or
Mhm.
um, be stunned in a situation where somebody needs rapid help. So outside that situation, um, I sit back and I say, wow, like I'm amazed, especially I'm just amazed at the situation, the events, how they occurred. Um, Part of me is like thankful to God that I had the opportunity to see this, because a lot of
Mhm.
times they do recover.
Yeah.
And then I want to share. I definitely love to share. Just so I think part of that sharing brings in cultivates that relationship with my wife. I think that's part of our time to bond. It is our part of our relationship sharing.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's I like that too, because it allows you to feel, from basically what you're saying, is that it allows you to feel that you're not alone in this. Like you're
yeah,
not just having to deal with everything by yourself, and there's no outlet. You don't have no one to speak to, but you do have someone. And I think that's beautiful. So when did you start that process? Was it before you got married, or you guys were dating, or was
Mm,
it when you did get married and you feel like, okay, well, I have someone I can talk to? Was it a natural fit, or was it something that you realized that, okay, this is something I need to do going forward?
wow. I think it was a natural fit. From the beginning of our relationship, I definitely view my wife as my best friend. So it was these conversations daily, like, how was your day? How
Mhm.
was your day is not like a casual, how was your day? Like, oh, it was good, it was bad. No, like, I want to hear about the moments,
Mhm.
frustrations, what went good, what went bad.
Yeah.
That is part of our daily talk. Uh, a moment that I love those moments because I can use them as like tools of prayer. Like, okay, well, she's struggling in this area. Her boss tried her today, so let me lift this part up. Or or if I can offer any like additional perspective, a lot of times in situations. So yeah, I thought we did that from early on when we were literally dating.
Yeah. That's that's I'm emphasizing this because it's rare, especially with me being a relationship coach, and there's so many people that actually want that type of relationship of being open and honest and willing to share. Because a lot of people have relationships where their significant other doesn't really care about that type of stuff. They only have an agenda of what they want in the relationship, and that's it. All the extra stuff is not that important. But when you're talking to me and you're like, okay, well, that's a priority, you made it a priority to talk about these things, I think is very powerful because it sets a precedence in not only the relationship, but also what people see around you. Like, okay, yeah, I'm in this hospitals, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that. Sometimes the patients are not as welcoming and not as happy to see you.
Mhm.
But you're able to take all of that and share it with your significant other. And it allows you guys to have a balance of it all. Like, yeah, I got to go back to the hospital, but then at the same time, I still have someone to come to when things get rough. So
True.
yeah, I do like that. I do like that. So what would you say to anyone that is, having that profession, maybe a doctor, maybe a nurse, maybe it could be even someone that's working in corporate or working in office. Like, what would you say
Mhm.
is the best thing they can do when they do have those stressful moments or dealing with traumatic experiences, and maybe they are dating somebody or they are married? What would you say is the best thing to create those conversations?
Um, Best way to create those conversations with their significant other. Uh, I think making your other significant other feel like it's a safe place for them to share their thoughts.
Mm.
I always start with how are you doing versus, I mean, throwing it out there for her about my day or my trauma. It's not a comparison. Um, she might experience her own form of trauma in wherever she is that day. So
Mhm.
goal, I guess the goal in it should be um, to deepen relationship, not to literally just get something off your chest.
Mm.
that's 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 my point of it. Yeah. So I think, yeah, just going into the situation, asking to authentically just hear from them. Uh, and if you can't start with them, I think counseling is a very, very helpful tool.
Yeah.
Counseling as well. So yeah, great tool, a great outlet for you to even practice if you're not comfortable talking or being, you know, open with someone else.
Mm. Yeah, I like the counseling dynamic also, as you said, because um, you might, as I said earlier, you might not have that significant other that's ready to listen and ready to have everything wide open. And some people take time. It takes time for them to open up to certain situations and certain topics, and people have triggers, and you don't know what maybe start a conversation one day and it triggers them, and they don't want to have that conversation ever again. So counseling is very important because they don't know you. They don't know you, and it allows you to basically speak your mind in peace. And it's supposed to be judge free, no judgment,
Yeah,
no. I'm not ready to talk about this. You're really paying them to
exactly.
talk. Exactly. So
Exactly.
yeah, I do appreciate the counseling aspect, and I'm glad that our culture, society, let's expand even, it's now welcoming the option of counseling and coaching and things of that nature, because it's funny that it's something that's being normalized now, but in reality a lot of people need it. And you could tell by the way people act during the days, and how
Mhm.
people treat other people and things of that nature. So I do appreciate that. And I know we briefly talked about you even seeking that, just for bettering yourself, and that's
Yeah, yeah,
powerful. Very, very powerful.
yeah.
um I guess my last question for you is, um being in the hospitals and you being a nurse practitioner, would you say the hospital dynamic was more stressful and traumatic, or do you feel like no matter where you went there was still trauma and still stress that you needed to talk about?
I don't know. Um, yeah, the hospital physically is definitely more trauma in the ER.
Hmm.
But in this a new role, um, the trauma I see is different. I see people who are not educated on how to take care of themselves,
Mm,
and I see the trajectory of trauma in their lives, like not
mm,
taking their blood pressure medicine because the doctor trying to kill them is what they'll say to me, and I'm like, but your blood pressure is, at stroke levels.
yeah.
This can kill you,
Hmm.
and so it's such a disconnect. And I spend a lot more times educating and attempting to convince patients of the trajectory of their health if they continue making these decisions, and that's painful to watch. See
Mm,
somebody literally doing the things that are going to kill them prematurely.
yeah.
That's different.
Yeah. So I guess my final question for you is, we talked about the relationship aspect, but what about the individual that's watching this now and they're going through trauma and from work? I think the biggest thing is like sometimes we do go through trauma at work, no matter what you do or your profession. Um, I know you said prayer was a good start, and also communicating with significant other or counselor. But is there something that you do on a daily basis that that really helped you out, maybe even starting off, or even at this point, other than what we already talked about?
Um, no, not really. I make it a point, like I said, I go into work almost with tunnel vision. So personally, I try to refrain from the before shifts, the unnecessary chatting and complaining, things to that might affect your mood.
Mm,
Uh,
yeah,
I already said prayer. That's what I do before work to set my mood and tone for the shift. But I definitely um, do my way to slide out of workplace drama,
mm,
um, and just focus on the task at hand, pretty much. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Man, Joseph, you've been amazing. Um, this is a years and experience and knowledge that I'm pretty sure that someone watching this is definitely gonna need in whatever profession, and it's definitely gonna help a lot of people. I thank you so much for joining me.
Appreciate it, man.
It's been amazing, and until next time, I definitely want to have you back up here talking about different topics. We didn't even touch the COVID aspect. That's a
Oh
whole
boy,
nother conversation. That's a whole nother
the
conversation.
Rona.
Yes, yes, yes. But until next time, thank you so much.
All right, be blessed.
Yes, sir.